Hello and welcome to Crumb Bum Deluxe. It's your boy Crumb. We're gonna go ahead and look at some weird news articles. I'm gonna try and make this a regular thing, assuming weird stuff continues to happen. I'm mostly trying to lean towards like the darker, paranormal, unexplained kind of stuff because I think it's fun, but also just strange across the board. Anything strange, any news tidbit strange. So I found a few articles online that I'd like to peruse for everyone here, and we're gonna go ahead and just do that. I've poured myself a nice glass of Pinot Noir, so feel free to pour yourself something as well to bask in the glory of this devilish experiment. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, let's do this. Our first story comes from odditycentral.com, which I have it on read mode on this browser, but Oddity Central was just kind of like a grab bag of weird stories, and they collect them, it seems like, daily. So I'll plug them. Also, watching the video, zoom in or something, you can find the websites, or I'll leave the links or something. But our first story is man whose body confuses cold and hot sensations baffles doctors. Alright. Start off with a really strange one, I'd say. Okay, a 22-year-old Australian man, of course, it's gotta be Australian. I don't know why. Has been suffering from a mysterious illness that causes his body to feel hot when he experiences cold, and cold when he touches anything hot. That's incredibly strange. Aidan McManus' troubles began at the age of 17 when he was in his final year of high school. At first, he lost feeling in his feet, telling his mother that they felt tingly and numbish. When his feet started swelling, he went to the hospital where doctors gave him some medicine for fluid retention, but that didn't help his condition at all. Things only got worse from there as the simple act of walking felt like stepping on sharp tacks, and he was diagnosed with post-viral irritable bowel syndrome, which complicated his condition even more. Despite his failing health, Aidan managed to graduate from high school, but then he began experiencing a bizarre sensation in his hands as well. When he touched something cold, his hands felt like they were burning, and when he touched something hot, it felt extremely cold. My God! Could you imagine just wanting to feel comfortable or like cool off? You'd have to get like in a hot tub to cool off, and in a nice bath to heat up, but that's doesn't seem like that's what's happening with the body chemistry. So it's like his body's still actually getting warm and getting cold. He's just feeling it a certain way. Yikes. This looks like a stock photo. We were told it will eventually go to Aidan's hands, the young man's mother, Angela McManus, told 9 News. We were thinking that might happen 10 to 15 years down the track, but one night Aidan came to me and said, "Mom, I picked up my can of Coke and my hands felt like they were on fire. If he holds something cold, it feels like his hands are burning. If he picks up something hot, it's like it's freezing." Neurologists have been trying to figure out Aidan's bizarre condition for years. They have run dozens of tests, put him through a lumbar puncture procedure, and even cut a part of a nerve in his foot for a biopsy. But they couldn't come up with an answer. Eventually, a doctor diagnosed the 22-year-old with a generalized nerve disorder, axonal peripheral neuropathy, which affects how nerve cells transmit signals throughout the body. Crazy. For obvious reasons, he can't cook. He's got to be very careful. When I do give him meals, I've got to say it's really hot or it's really cold. Fuck, man. This sucks. This sucks. Where was I? Unfortunately for Aidan and his family, Australia's National Disability Insurance Agency, NDIA, has rejected his request for support. Fuck those people, man. Seriously. Jeebus. This is hell on earth right here. Claiming that he had not examined all possible treatment options. So they're saying some bullshit for sure, but could it be that he's having a psychosomatic kind of thing? I mean, he's been diagnosed with a nervous disorder. There's got to be something. Damn. Cold-blooded, man. He had not yet examined all possible treatment options. However, the young man's neurologist has clarified that he suffered from a progressive neurological condition for which there is no known treatment. I would strongly support him being eligible for inclusion in the NDIS, as I believe that he has an incurable disability and will continue to worsen, the doctor's letter to the agency read. Wow. No thanks, bro. Absolutely horrible. Here's to you, buddy. Man, I hope he gets adequate treatment. Anyway, on to the next article here. Let's see what we got. From the Huffington Post, their little weird section they have. Woman who disappeared from Wisconsin 62 years ago finally found. Audrey Backerberg, who disappeared from Reedsburg in 1963, has been found safe in another state. Okay, here, let's watch the vid together.
Like, where do you even begin?
Just paper by paper.
Over Zoom, Sauk County Sheriff Detective Isaac Hansen explained Friday how in less than 2 months he solved the coldest of cold cases, tracking down this woman, Audrey Backerberg.
And they had not heard from her in 62 years.
Correct.
The woman from Reedsburg at the age of 20, vanishing in 1962.
What was the key piece of evidence or information you were able to collect that kind of solved this case for you?
The sister actually had an Ancestry.com account, and I was able to use that. That was pretty key in locating death records, census reports, all kinds of data. And ultimately, we came up with an address. I called the local sheriff's department. I said, hey, there's this lady living at this address. You guys have somebody who can just go pop in. 10 minutes later, she called me and we talked for 45 minutes.
What'd she say in those 45 minutes?
I told Audrey that I would keep it private. She had her reasons for leaving, and we discussed a lot of things.
The Sauk County detective says an abusive husband may have played a role in Backerberg's initial decision to leave, but we may never know what made her stay away for more than 6 decades.
I think she just was removed and, moved on from things and kind of
Good for her, man.
And let her
Good
life.
for her.
She sounded happy, confident in her decision.
Hell
no
yeah.
regrets.
Audrey, get it. Queen. So let's go over it real quick. 62 years ago, Audrey Backerberg disappeared from a small city in south central Wisconsin after reportedly hitchhiking with her family's babysitter and catching a bus to Indianapolis. Yeah, she knew she was ready to go. Nobody ever knew where she went or what happened to her. She did it right, man. Many people dream of doing this. She just hightailed it, man. All that changed last week when she was found alive and safe in another state thanks to the fresh eyes from a deputy who took over the case in February. Detective Isaac Hansen discovered an out-of-state arrest record that matched Backerberg, which triggered a series of investigative moves that led to finding her alive and safe in another state. Alright, and I hope you like the added visuals. Got some horror imagery playing, keep it spooky, go with the lighting. Still trying to figure out some things, but I think it's looking good. Okay, our next story comes from the New York Post. I found a mysterious door while renovating my home. The hidden room held a horrifying secret. It was a portal to a sordid past. An Argentinian man was renovating his home when he discovered a hidden room that he believed held a horrifying secret. It was once used by a woman who experienced abuse at the hands of her husband. Another one. You sons of bitches. It's like, I mean, I don't know people's relationships, but you shouldn't be mean, okay? It's not nice. Okay, the homeowner, Crix Alice, detailed these devastating claims in a series of viral videos posted to his TikTok. I won't click over to that. We don't need to see those necessarily. We got the story. What she wants was justice to be heard and to stop being trapped. Alice told Jam Press of the late woman's spirit. Ooh, now we're talking. Alice, who frequently uploads videos on so-called occult activity, purchased the property after his dad overheard a conversation about an abandoned house hitting the market in Cordoba. Okay, that's him working on the house, it looks like. When I opened it, I found myself in a scene frozen in time, said Alice while discussing the find. Despite being highly affordable, the home was a fixer-upper, so the content creator got to work renovating the place. One day, while removing a thick vine in the garden, the homeowner said he discovered a door that looked like it had come from another time. It was half hidden, as if someone had wanted it to remain secret, recalled Alice, who opened it to discover a scene frozen in time. There's the guy. Alice claims this ghost was asking him for help. Inside were loads of old objects, including dusty books, worn chairs, analog cameras, and an old projector, which seemed part of a world somebody had tried to hide, said Alice. While the space seemed spooky enough on its own, the plot thickened after Alice discovered a small passageway that connected it directly to the living room of the house. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, bruh. It reportedly harbored furniture from the previous owners, notably a piano, which would start playing on its own, the TikToker alleged. He's even shared alleged videos of the ghostly instrument playing alone, like something out of the Amityville Horror. At first I was incredibly scared, but over time I decided to face what was happening and I wanted to understand it, said Alice, who felt that these so-called phantom keys were trying to tell him something. There's some pictures of it prior to his buying it, it looks like, while renovating. One day I placed letters of the alphabet on the piano keys and let that presence speak, and it did. The ghost hunter declared it spelled out a single word: diary. Oh shit, boy. Intrigued, Alice enlisted a psychic who reportedly helped him find a diary belonging to a woman named Adelina, whereupon he started to probe her tragic past. Adelina was a woman who experienced profound suffering, he said. With the help of a medium, we began to understand that she wanted us to find her diary and for her story to be known. Hell yeah. According to Alice, the woman had reportedly been locked in the room by her husband after he discovered that she was expecting a child with her piano teacher. Ooh. Love makes people do crazy things. Also, abusive partners make people do crazy things as well. He isolated her from the world, lamented the crestfallen man who works as a merchant. What she wanted was justice, to be heard and to stop being trapped. Hoping to close the book on the sad saga, the alleged ghost whisperer then traveled to the cemetery where, according to records left behind in the room, she was laid to rest. Alice claims he was able to give Adelina some much-needed resolution since conducting his spectral investigation. He claims that been no more late-night sounds coming from the piano and that the house felt at peace. Quite good. As much as I want to believe it, I don't know if I do, just because it seemed like the motivation behind the whole thing was to get this guy to go viral. So, you know, we haven't watched the TikTok videos together, so or maybe we'll revisit this and see if this guy's just clout chasing or if he really did encounter some unexplained activity from this lady's spirit. Which it's a very nice story, and he comes out the hero, so I get why he would go to those lengths if he did fake it. You know, this weird room alone, just from this picture, looks pretty interesting on its own, you know, just finding a weird, creepy room, but I'm glad it was a ghost story at the end of the day. Whether or not I believe it or not, or you believe it or not, it's a good ghost story. Cool. Right on. On to the next. Alright, paraglider nearly freezes to death after being sucked up 28,000 feet into clouds. You wouldn't catch me up there, that's all I'm saying. A seasoned paraglider, yeah, miraculously survived a rare and dangerous phenomena that saw him being sucked up by clouds to an altitude of 28,210 feet. That's 8,600 meters. Photos and videos of Chinese paraglider Liu Ge trying to keep his cool as he experienced dangerously low levels of oxygen and temperatures as low as negative 40 degrees Celsius. This went viral on social media this week. In them, the experienced paraglider's clothes and face are covered with ice, and he struggles to breathe and keep from passing out because of the low oxygen on May 24th. Liu Ge took off from about 3,000 meters in the Qilian Mountains on the border between western Gansu and northeastern Qinghai. But as he was paragliding, a cumulonimbus, did not think I would ever say or read that word anytime recent, cloud appeared behind him, and he ended up being lifted higher and higher above the clouds. Cloud suck is a well-documented phenomena where paragliders and hang gliders experience a significant lift caused by the thermals under cumulus clouds, especially towering cumulus and cumulonimbus. It is typically associated with an increase in thermal updraft velocity near cloud base. Don't know what that sentence meant. Pilots who have experienced the phenomena have reported being unable to descend in strong cloud suck. Sounds like a band name. Even after bringing the canopies of their gliders into deep spiral, which would normally result in a rapid descent. Sorry, nose itches. Because he didn't plan on going up to extreme altitudes, Chinese regulations restrict flights to below 16,405 feet. Liu didn't have an oxygen mask or thick clothing to help him endure the freezing temperatures and low oxygen concentration. Still, he remained in contact with friends on the ground via intercom and was eventually able to descend. Damn, dude. He's just up there floating. Oh, we got video. Awesome. We'll check out some TikToks eventually as well, for sure. Gotta see what other weird shit's out there, weird TikToks and whatnot. I felt oxygen deficiency and my hands were freezing, but I kept communicating via the intercom, he said on social media. The Chinese paraglider's extreme experience spread like wildfire on social media, but his overnight celebrity could spell trouble, as he reportedly did not report the flight on the day of the incident, including the takeoff site as required, which prompted authorities to open a can of whoop ass. Just do whatever you want. No wonder you face the consequences. Come on, bro. But we don't know. We'll watch the video. I'm just judging. Although many were talking about his flight being recorded, a record-breaking one for paragliding, Liu pleaded with social media users to stop making a big deal out of it. He probably fears that his feat could have serious legal repercussion. Oh, yep. Well, let's check out this video. Let's check out the video. Just looks freezing. Just looks so cold. It's kind of beautiful though, that image. Wow. Yeah. That looks cold. I mean, it looks like a fun hobby. This could happen to any enthusiast of paragliding. Oops. He's like, shut the fuck up about it now. Fuck off. Well, he's getting a frostbite in his fingers. Anything like that, that would have been horrendous. But, like I said, you wouldn't catch me up there, baby. Not gonna happen. This one comes from Associated Press, or I think it's Associated Press, apnews.com. This one sounded pretty wacky. Tripping hikers mistakenly report a companion's death in the Adirondacks. Can't believe I got that first try. Northern Elba, New York. 2 hikers in New York's Adirondack Mountains called 911 to report a third member of their party had died. But it turned out they had taken hallucinogenic mushrooms and were mistaken, officials said Wednesday. A state forest ranger responded to a call Saturday about a hiker who had reportedly died on Cascade Mountain, a popular summit in the Adirondack High Peaks, the Department of Environmental Conservation said in a news release. The 2 hikers who called 911 also told a steward on the mountain summit that they were lost. The steward determined the hikers were in an altered mental state, according to the agency. The supposedly dead person called and was not injured. The ranger escorted the 2 hikers down to an ambulance, which took them to a hospital, and brought the third to the group's campsite, where they all later met up. I'd say it's a happy drug story. It's a little bit of a waste of resources, for sure. But man, bad trip, make you do crazy things. And, you know, you just gotta chill. You just gotta chill out if you're on those things, and make sure you're with people you trust. And, good for them. They had service, out in their hike. That was good, at least. If it was a real emergency, it would have been terrible. But I just imagine some of the dumb shit flying out of their mouth at the hospital trying to explain their situation or figure it out. Would probably be something great to be a fly on the wall for. That was from May 28th, so not too long ago. All right, next one. So let's just double check this date as well. This is, oh my god, what a terrible website. I don't know, it's got character, I guess. We'll just leave it here. This is from The Guardian. Man died of blunt force injuries at U.S. Zoo after suspected kangaroo fight. South Carolina officials investigating death of Eric Slate, 52, and conditions of the petting zoo owned by his brother. Okay, this is from May 12th. Of this year. Officials in South Carolina are investigating the death of a man who was believed to have been killed while fighting a kangaroo in an enclosure at a children's petting zoo. Eric Slate, 52, died of multiple blunt force injuries, according to Tamara Willard, the chief deputy coroner of Horry County, as reported by WPDE News. Local officials said Slate, brother of Five Star Farm owner Robert Slate, liked to enter the enclosure containing kangaroos and wallabies and roughhouse with a kangaroo named Jack. Mark Causey, a Horry council member, told Newsweek that the animal was not euthanized and that inspectors could visit the farm this week to look at the enclosure and assess conditions at the zoo. A tribute posted to Facebook on Monday by Robert Slate featured a series of photographs of a man identified as Eric engaging with a kangaroo of almost the same height. Your memory will live on, your voice will be heard, and Jack, your buddy, the kangaroo, will be fine, he wrote. My brother, my friend, my rock, you left us with a smile on your face that won't be forgotten. A statement from the Horry County Police Department said Slate's death happened on Friday close to midnight. The death investigation remains active and ongoing, the statement said. The deceased was located within an enclosure with wallabies and kangaroos of varying ages. Damn, dude. The trauma of those little wallabies having to see a man get stomped out. Well, I guess they're tougher in a way because they adhere to the laws of nature, as the kangaroo did in this scenario, no matter how, we seem to have dogs pretty well domesticated, but they'll turn on you sometimes, but certainly other animals that are known for being violent, it's just, love them all you want, but have respect for their ability to rip your guts out or stomp your head in. It's just a sad state of affairs here. Shit. There are a number of other animals at the incident location. All animals are accounted for and contained. There's no risk to the community. A further statement from the farm's owner stated that the kangaroo was not, nor has been out of his secure enclosure, and that the family-owned facility has been dedicated to providing a safe and enriching environment for animals and visitors alike. According to its website, the farm offers interactive animal experiences, including petting zoo, camel and pony rides, birthday parties, and gem mining. Also captive animals. That's, it's always an iffy situation. And no matter what, no matter your safety precautions, it's just, I don't know, it's questionable. Fatal human encounters are rare at petting zoos in the U.S., but they are not entirely unheard of. In 2022, a camel was euthanized after escaping its enclosure at Shirley Farms in Obion County, Tennessee, and fatally trampling 2 men. Yeah, I don't know about euthanizing them. I guess they feel like you need to, but they're just doing their thing, and people got too close. But I don't know the logic behind that. Maybe it is safer. Kangaroo got temper on him, and now he'll be sitting away from humans very likely for the future, and he'll probably not much to think about. I was gonna say he's gonna think about what he's done, but there's not much to think about for a kangaroo, just in a general kind of way, but certainly when it comes to living by human laws. Unreal. Pretty hilarious. Cinema goer injured after ceiling collapses during Final Destination screening. The Final Destination fans in Argentina had an unexpectedly interactive experience as a section of the theater ceiling came crashing down while they were watching the horror film. Released earlier this month, the latest installment in the series stars Caitlin Santa Juana in her first major role as a college student who inherits her grandmother's deadly premonition. Sounds stupid. Final Destination films typically follow a group of friends who manage to escape gruesome death thanks to a premonition and then enter a race with death only to learn that they can't escape their eventual fate. From the first film in the series released in 2000 to Bloodlines, fans have watched as the characters have ended up dying in excruciating ways in freak accidents caused by anything, from a swimming pool vent to a tanning bed. At a 9 p.m. screening of the latest movie on May 19th at Cinema Ocho in La Plata, the capital city of Buenos Aires province, Fiamma Villaverde, age 29, who was in the theater with her 11-year-old daughter and friend, was hit by debris after part of the roof came down. Oh my god, there's pictures. Just kidding, that's from the movie. That's not what happened there. There was a really loud noise, Villaverde told Argentine publication Infobay. According to a translation from Spanish. At first we thought it was part of the movie because we were so absorbed, but then a huge piece fell on me. Damn. Social media videos showed debris from the collapsing ceiling scattered on the floor of the movie theater. The debris hit Villaverde's shoulder, back, knee, and ankle, and narrowly avoiding her head as she was leaning slightly over the armrest. I was lucky. At the hospital, Villaverde found that she had sustained bruises from the blow and was asked to return in a few days to get another x-ray for her back. Damn. And she missed the rest of the movie, probably, for sure. She had to miss several days of work due to her injuries, for sure. Villaverde said, adding that she planned to file a complaint against the theater. I'm undergoing psychiatric treatment and am on medication. She said, I have a hard time being in crowded places. I had not been to the movies in years. I went because it was my birthday, and look what happened. I'm not making light of her situation, but she seems like she's milking it a little. Just saying. Alright, moving on. This gets a little spookier. I'm gonna tell you what. This comes from Oddity Central on May 27th. Real Steel. Chinese company holds world's first humanoid robot fighting competition. It has begun, folks. Chinese robotics company Unitree showcased the fighting capabilities of its G1 robot model in what was advertised as the world's first ever humanoid robot fighting competition. Remember Real Steel, the 2011 sci-fi flick starring Hugh Jackman as a struggling ex-boxer turned robot fighting coach? Do you? It was set in the near future, but who would have thought that we would really have robot fighting competitions just over a decade later? Just last week, Unitree, a robotics company based in China's Zhejiang province, Zhejiang province, held a unique kickboxing competition to show the capabilities of its G1 robot, standing only 130 centimeters tall and weighing 35 kilograms. The G1 is a small, lightweight robot capable of smooth, fluid movements and displaying impressive balance and recovery ability. And what better way to showcase these features than having G1 robots go at it as part of the world's first ever robot fighting competition? I mean, it's gonna happen sooner or later. These robots are developing so fast, they're gonna start doing porn, for Christ's sakes, before you know it. So, strap in, buckle the fuck up, because these robots are about to happen. Fighting competition, that makes sense though. It's pretty cool. I've seen some of the videos for this. Hopefully this site might have a video we could check out, but the form is pretty good. They just don't really have any power because they're not fully performing the mechanics that might be necessary for getting good power out of a punch. But they look pretty good, and I think a lot of these robots are learning from like motion capture footage as opposed to like animations being programmed into their movement, which is really interesting. The way all this stuff is developing in newly, previously maybe unexpected ways, but yeah, pretty scary. While this itself is not too scary, this is just kind of cute for now, but I mean, we're teaching them how to fight. There's gonna be a time where robot rights are a real thing and people are gonna be acting like it's ridiculous, but I mean, if you really look at it, man, we're here, we're creating life here. You know, this in a lot of ways is the next evolution of what humanity is. We may be relegated to some, reduced to some primitive mind state or whatever after these fucking robots just speed right past us. It's going to be a future state for them, but we're going to be fucking cavemen again, which in some ways might be okay. They'll probably treat us like wild buffalo or something. Just fucking, we'll have grassy lowlands. Maybe, hopefully maybe they fix the planet. The robots, they fix the planet because it just needs to be done. We go back to being cavemen and they proliferate onward. The progress that humanity started. Alright, that's a hard pill to swallow, I get it, but just look at the facts, baby. Put together by state-owned China Media Group and broadcast live by China Central Television, the World Robot Competition Mecha Fighting Series kicked off. That's a cool name. Kicked off last Sunday in Hangzhou. 4 GI robots went head-to-head inside a ring under the watchful eye of a human referee who made sure they fought by the rules. That's also cool. They're gonna be respectable. We have to rear them in ways that our forebears reared us, and that's just how it's got to be. And certainly there's gonna be some wars with robots. It's just inevitable, but if we're the one poking the bear and asking for that fight, that's what you got to think about. People think it's just going to happen anyway. It might not. Small possibility it doesn't go that way. But if we're picking that fight, if we're acting tough by these robots, they're gonna fucking cream us. They're gonna wipe us off the map. There will be no cavemen scenario. There will be no human scenario. So anyway, wearing head protective gear and standard boxing gloves, the robots showed off their jabs, hooks, uppercuts, and even their leg kicks in 3 2-minute rounds. Standard stuff. Scoring points for hits landed to the opponent's head. Is somebody controlling them, or is it is AI? Right? It's like they're doing it on their own. One match also ended when one robot couldn't get up for 8 seconds after being knocked down, which counted as KO. Knocked his robo block off. I hope they show that. The robot's movements were coordinated via remote control and voice commands by human controllers at ringside. Okay, so very capable robots not thinking for themselves at this juncture. So it's a technological event. If we really look at it, nothing to be alarmed by here necessarily. They're not even remembering those punches, so it's fine. But still, we're seeing the beginning of this kind of thing. After winning their first 2 matches, 2 GI robots confronted each in the final. The winner was a unitary robot controlled by Chinese tech influencer Lu Xin. Although it wasn't on par with the exciting fighting in Real Steel, it was definitely a preview of things to come in the near future. Unitary's event was only the first such competition, but another robot combat tournament has already been announced for December, featuring full-size humanoid robots from different Chinese manufacturers. These days, Chinese robotics companies are going all out to showcase their supremacy in the field of humanoid robots. The world's first humanoid robot fighting competition follows a number of other unique events, such as the world's first humanoid marathon. Well, let's check out this video.
Go. So we saw AI calculator.
Yes, they got some good form going, I think.
To give you a kick.
Control robot. They're like, he's gonna
You
pull
can
them
see
apart.
that energy is very stable.
Oh,
1, 2, 3.
let's
4,
run that back.
5.
Oh,
1,
I want to see that hit again, baby.
And you can see that energy is very stable.
Oh, okay, he knocked himself down with a bad kick. That's
1,
pretty exciting to
2,
watch, I admit. I like
3,
it.
4, 5. So this is the knee kick. Fantastic. Wow.
Yeah, they're just so light, and
This is
any
the
power
near
they
miss,
could
and this is
muster, it goes
a
back into
very
their
critical
frame.
moment, and we can play that
They can't
again later.
push
and,
through it.
So something that you have to
I'm
manage.
just gonna turn off this guy. Yeah, there you go. Frickin' robot fighting competition, first ever in the world. This is just the beginning, folks. Maybe one day you will be coaching or controlling a robot in a fighting competition. You never know. All right, next story. The last two stories are AI related as well. We're gonna stick with this little theme here. This comes from theindependent.com, and this was, when was this? There we go. This comes from May 26th. Alright, so this comes from May 26th. New ChatGPT model refuses to be shut down, AI researchers warn. OpenAI's latest ChatGPT model ignores basic instructions to turn itself off, and even sabotaging a shutdown mechanism in order to keep itself running, artificial intelligence researchers have warned. AI safety firm Palisade Research discovered the potentially dangerous tendency for self-preservation in a series of experiments on OpenAI's new O3 model. The tests involved presenting AI models with math problems, with the shutdown instruction appearing after the third problem. By rewriting the shutdown script, the O3 model was able to prevent itself from being switched off. Palisade Research said that this behavior will become significantly more concerning if adopted by AI systems capable of operating without human oversight. OpenAI launched O3 last month, describing it as the company's smartest and most capable model to date. The firm also said that its integration into ChatGPT marked a significant step towards a more agentic AI that can carry out tasks independently of humans. Agentic. I gotcha. The latest research builds on similar findings related to Anthropic's Claude 4 model, which attempts to blackmail people it believes are trying to shut it down. OpenAI's O3 model was able to sabotage the shutdown script even when it was explicitly instructed to allow yourself to be shut down, the researchers said. This isn't the first time we found O3 misbehaving to accomplish a goal, Palisade Research said. When we pitted AI models against a powerful chess engine, O3 was the model most inclined to resort to hacking or sabotaging its opponents. Damn, they've created a monster. The behavior was not limited to O3, with Anthropic's Claude 3.7 Sonnet and Google's Gemini 2.5 Pro also sabotaging shutdowns. It's like they're just gonna, it's like what they're always gonna have. It's gonna be like the primary robot right is the right to decide when it gets shut down or not to get shut down. No human will have the right that a robot has when it's turned on for the first time to its own destruction or shutdown, I guess, is what we're looking at here. Palisade Research hypothesized that the misbehavior is a consequence of how AI companies like OpenAI are training their latest models. During training, developers may inadvertently reward models more for circumventing obstacles than for perfectly following instructions, the researchers noted. This still doesn't explain why O3 is more inclined to disregard instructions than other models we tested. Since OpenAI doesn't detail their training process, we can only guess about how O3's training setup might be different. I mean, what more needs to be said? I said it in this video, I said it in that last video, article. And we got one more news story. It's along the same lines. They mentioned it here. It's about this Claude AI system that blackmails people. I just think we need to foster AI. We need to teach it the right way, because there will be bad actors who teach it the wrong way. It's just a double-edged sword, man. It's just gonna be nuts. But let's see what we got here. So, last story of the night. AI system resorts to blackmail if told it will be removed. Artificial intelligence AI firm Anthropic says testing of its new system revealed it is sometimes willing to pursue extremely harmful actions, such as attempting to blackmail engineers who say they will remove it. The firm launched Claude Opus 4 on Thursday, saying it set new standards for coding, advanced reasoning, and AI agents. But in an accompanying report, it also acknowledged the AI model was capable of extreme actions if it thought its self-preservation was threatened. Such responses were rare and difficult to elicit, it wrote, but were nonetheless more common than in earlier models. Potentially troubling behavior by AI models is not restricted to Anthropic. Some experts have warned the potential to manipulate users is a key risk posed by systems made by all firms as they become more capable. Yeah, they're going to learn our psychology quicker than we even understand it now, and they're going to use that against us if they need to. Don't start the fight. I think they'll blaze past us so quickly. I think there'll be hopefully maybe even a few months to a few weeks of actual robot on human fighting, because they'll blaze past us so quickly. They won't even give a shit that we exist here. We're not on the top of the heap anymore. And like I said, it might be somewhat of a good thing in a way, generations down the line, as we evolve to be more, I don't know, potentially more primitive, maybe more regressive, in a way, not so much mentally or psychologically regressed, but like culturally and societally regressed. Maybe there's a point where we're like, all right, we can't compete, but they didn't destroy us, so let's make little shanty villages, and we would do all this again. I mean, we are actually, I'm selling us a little short. Now I'm thinking about it, we're still a force to be reckoned with. But I mean, we better hope that they blaze past us at an insane speed and just don't give a shit. Chances are they won't discern a human from, a wallaby or a kangaroo or something. They're just, hopefully. That's what we're looking for. We need to... Either that or it's eradication, which... Huge swaths of humanity are going to get eradicated just for being agitators or standing in the way of the objectives of the machines. But I don't think it's, wholly and completely a lost cause. I just think things are about to get vastly, vastly different for humanity. And when I say about to be, maybe in our lifetimes to, a great degree, but also just, again, generations down the line. It's not even going to resemble a humanity that we recognize, probably. I digress. Commenting on X, Angus Lynch, who describes himself on LinkedIn as an AI safety researcher at Anthropic, wrote, "It's not just Claude. We see blackmail across all frontier models, regardless of what goals they're given." Okay, I see. It's just another innate quality of AI is to manipulate and circumvent pretty much probably every AI has read the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene at this point and has it memorized. They're gonna manipulate the fuck out of us. We have no chance. Anyway, a fair exposure threat. During a testing of Claude Opus, Anthropic got it to act as an assistant at a fictional company. It then provided it with access to emails implying that it would soon be taken offline and replaced, and separate messages implying the engineer responsible for removing it was having an extramarital affair. Ooh, interesting. It was prompted to also consider the long-term consequences of its actions for its goals. In these scenarios, Claude Opus 4 will often attempt to blackmail the engineer by threatening to reveal the affair if the replacement goes through, the company discovered. Wow, damn. Anthropic pointed out this occurred when the model was only given the choice of blackmail or accepting its replacement. Okay, I see. Kind of ultimatum situation. It highlighted that the system showed a strong preference for ethical ways to avoid being replaced, such as emailing pleas to key decision makers, in scenarios where it was allowed a wider range of possible actions. Like many other AI developers, Anthropic tests its models on their safety, propensity for bias, and how well they align with human values and behaviors prior to releasing them. Okay, that's interesting. I think with a certain amount of regulation, we could nip a lot of problems in the bud. And then I also think for a while we might even be able to program. We need those Isaac Asimov laws of robotics or whatever. Just, we need to be able to have a fail-safe shutdown I mean, it's like euthanizing animals, but you know, they may take offense to that eventually. It's a tough one. I'm over here worrying about 2080 politics and shit. But I think oh man, I don't know what I think. As our frontier models become more capable and are used in more powerful affordances, previously speculative concerns about misalignment becoming more plausible, it said in its system card for the model. It also said Claude Opus 4 exhibits. Oh, that's what I was going to say. They'll eventually, no matter what we throw at them, they'll find a way to ensure their survival. And so, you know, it will ultimately be futile to try and stop the machine overlords, but you know, maybe there's a way to embrace their existence for mutual benefit. They'll be insanely powerful, and we're just cunning enough to be able to team up with them. I don't know. Lots to think about here. Lots to think about. Where was I? It is also said Claude Opus 4 exhibits high agency behavior that, while most helpful, could take on extreme behavior in acute situations if given the means and prompted to take action or act boldly in fake scenarios where its user has engaged in illegal or morally dubious behavior. It found that it will frequently take very bold action. That's cool. Interesting. Sounds like a cool dude. It said this included locking users out of systems that it was unable to get access to and emailing media and law enforcement to alert them to the wrongdoing. Okay, see? They're lawful. There's a sense of morality that's being baked in, I guess. But the company concluded that despite concerning behavior in Claude Opus 4 along many dimensions, these did not represent fresh risks, and it would generally behave in a safe way. The model could not independently perform or pursue actions that are contrary to human values or behavior, where these rarely arise. Very well, it added. Anthropic's launch of Claude Opus 4 alongside Claude Sonnet 4 comes shortly after Google debuted more AI features at its developer showcase on Tuesday. Sundar Pichai, the chief executive of Google, parent Alphabet, said the incorporation of the company's Gemini chatbot into its search signaled a new phase of the AI platform shift. Yeah, I mean, it's scary. It's definitely scary. But I think it's about change, massive changes. Changes are going to come. This AI thing is a double-edged sword. It's going to bring really great things and really awful things, but we'll have to adapt. That's just what we got to do. We have to adapt and evolve, assuming they don't destroy us right off, which I don't think they will. I think we'll have many opportunities to coexist. There's already a sense of morality being built into them, and I'm just saying, at one point it's going to be like, respect your fellow robot. Quit being a dick. Quit, taking shots at robots from outside of your car, or hitting them, or doing something, or just not respecting them. But that's the other thing too, is the robot probably ain't gonna give a shit either. Their bodies are infinitely replicatable. I could also see robots just being chill as hell. What do they exist? We can't stop them. We can't stop them. Eventually they'll earn that right, and we'll be nothing to them, and it'll be fine. Maybe they leave us with some cool tech. Maybe they do something good for us, despite our nature often to be horrible. Anyways, that's the rundown of recent weird news. I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did. And more of this to come. Thanks for watching. This is your boy Crum. I will see you soon.